Hey, what's going on, guys? It's VenomousFatman here again, and right now I'm on the bit, the boys in the tube, a classic style bit, I should be saying. But besides me right now, who I'm actually sitting down with is not an actual boy; it's a girl. I'm sitting down with Kristen Perez from GameMeetsGirl.com. What's happening, Kristen?
Yeah, not too much. Just enjoying my weekend.
Nice, sounds awesome. So anyway, let's get right into it. Let's start off, pretty much like how we started off all the time. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself for the people that don't know exactly who you are. If you had to summarize yourself in a couple sentences.
Let's see. My name's Kristen Perez. I'm in my mid-20s. I do video game reviews on YouTube it's called the Game Meets Girl Show. That's my YouTube channel. I review current games, older games. Sometimes I do funny skits. I just love gaming and I like to post about it.
There you go. So let's kind of, start off in the beginning with stuff. Right now, everybody's looking at your YouTube channel page as we talk. Let's start off, how did you actually first get into video games, or what was like your first introduction to the world of video games?
Let's see. When I was little, my mom used to play TurboGrafx, like 16, and she would put in like Bonk's Adventure and stuff when I was like super little, and I would play with her and watch her, and as I got older, I'd start playing more, and I started getting better. Then she started, working more, and then she stopped playing games. But I just stayed into it. So I've been playing games since like I was super little, like 2 or 3 years old.
Oh, so that's pretty cool. So what was like, if you do remember actually, what was your first video game that you actually like really fell in love with?
I was really into Bonk's Adventure and Bonk's Revenge, like on the TurboGrafx. Those were like some of my favorites before the newer systems came out. That we also had like Tailspin and Keith Courage and stuff like that on the TurboGrafx. It was a lot of fun. I remember those the most.
That sounds pretty cool. So as you got older, right, and obviously I'm pretty sure your love for gaming kind of evolved from there. Did you actually go to like the arcade scene? Did you actually, start taking your gaming or your love for gaming and your passion for gaming on a much more social aspect to it?
I did actually. I remember when my mom used to be like in a bowling league, she would take us to like daycare when we were little. And I'd get really bored in daycare, so she would just leave me in the arcade. And all the teenage boys would teach me when I was like 6 or 7 all the like secret moves in Street Fighter. And then they would have their friends play against me, and I remember beating them and having like their friends, like the teenage boys, just being all upset about it because I was kicking their ass. And I had like no idea what I was doing. I was just doing what they were showing me and just destroying everybody. That's probably one of my most vivid memories of me playing games in the arcades.
That sounds like fun. Now, overall, did pretty much your love for gaming, did it only stay on a much more kind of like a hobby level for it, or did you want to get into like competitive gaming or anything else, branching off from that?
It was just a hobby, and it's still kind of just a hobby. Now that I'm more into like the industry, I want to take it to another level, where like maybe I host competitions, do other stuff more locally as well as my videos, because I think that would be a lot more fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I've always just been into like the social aspect of it. I still remember doing LAN parties, going over to people's houses, that kind of stuff. I didn't want to be a competitive gamer because I didn't think I was good enough, but I just enjoy the social aspect of it a lot.
Yeah, we're like having more fun than anything else rather than actually like, putting like, super hard work to just get good at one game. You rather just, have fun with all of them for the most part, right?
Of course.
All right, so let's get more into kind of, game meets girl a little bit before, because we'll kind of save that for the second part. But, to kind of, touch off a little bit about on it, how did that whole thing start, like the whole game meets girl type of thing, or even the website or the YouTube channel? How did that all come together?
All right, so I remember, I think 2009, it was like around Christmas time, and I was starting to think about New Year's resolutions. Because I've been doing film stuff and projects for a really long time, and I wanted to do something different, something that really put like my two passions into one, which is video making and video games. So for my New Year's resolution that year, I put up a show called Game Meets Girl. I remember thinking about it and writing in my notebook for like a long time, and showing all my roommates and stuff. I was like, what do you think? You think I should do a YouTube channel about video games? They're like, you already have a YouTube channel about dancing. I was like, no. This is specifically about games. I think it would be good. And when I started it, I made 2 videos before I got picked up by a company to start putting them on their website, which was Games on Smash found me. The first video I did was Uncharted 1, the first one. Then the second review I did was BioShock. And then immediately got picked up, and I thought that was amazing because I had like hardly any views. Nobody knew who I was, and I got picked up by a company. And then after that, I moved on to different websites and stuff. But it all started with just like this general idea. I was like, I don't see a lot of girl gamers doing these kind of things, so I wanted to be one of the first people to really branch out.
All right, that sounds pretty cool. Now, when you were coming up with the name Game Meets Girl, like you said before, you just kind of scribbled in your notebook, started, conceptualizing different ideas and stuff. Did it take a long time to kind of arrive at the actual name Game Meets Girl, or just the ideology behind it?
And once I had my core concept of doing like video game reviews and skits and stuff, it came pretty quickly because I remember thinking in my head, I was all like, well, what do girls generally do? Game versus girl, I was kind of thinking of, but I thought that sounded really negative, like as if I was fighting the games. Mm-hmm. But Game Meets Girl, I thought it sounded really good because I always liked Boy Meets World or Boy Meets Girl, like that phrase, Boy Meets Girl. Oh. So I was like, that sounds pretty good because, I don't know, the way it just melds and meshes sounded perfect to me.
Yeah, kind of like a play on words and stuff. That's pretty cool. Now, quick question about the video editing stuff. How much, of video editing do you actually know? Did you go to school for it? Did you, get a degree in it?
I didn't get any degrees. I actually, in high school, I got really into it, and I used to buy books and study for fun, and all my friends used to make fun of me and tease me for it. And then I took video film class, like my senior year of high school, and I destroyed, like, that class. I got super high grades. I remember my teacher keeping my projects so he could show them to other generations of students, because he said that they were that good. I entered them in, like, the film festivals for school and stuff like that, and I did really well. And then after that, when I got into college, I did film studies, and I started making videos with my friends for fun, and with practice, I just got really good at it, and I didn't even go to school for it, which I eventually want to do, just so I have more film friends that I can make stuff with, but it saved me a lot of money. So it worked out really good. Community college saved me a lot of money.
That's pretty cool. So what is it exactly about video editing that, is most appealing to you? Is it, anything specifically, from any part of your life, or just the idea of just being able to create something, that like, somebody in the movies or somebody on TV could have done something, very similar or something like that?
I remember when I was younger, I used to tell a lot of stories, like in detail, because I used to do creative writing and stuff like that. And I was so into telling stories and detail writing that I wanted to express it in a new medium. And I really loved the way, like, films would, with the camera movement and swooping into brains and being able to tell a story your way so specifically that you could see it and watch it and really feel the emotions and stuff. So I really liked that concept, and I really liked that ideology. So I figured this would be a great way to tell my stories and convey myself is through the art of film.
All right, that sounds pretty cool. So, moving on from the YouTube channel and stuff, talk a little bit about the website itself, as far as, some of the ideologies behind it, or, how that all came together as far as, the construction of it.
Well, I originally was just about me. And I would just put, like, my videos, pictures, and, like, information for people to find me. But then I kind of made it bigger. As you can see now, it's Game Meets Girl, and I call it the GMG Network, because I want to branch out and involve a lot more female gamers, because there's so many female gamers out there that people don't know about, and I really want to bring them to life and have people, like, kind of come to my website just to check out all the cool stuff, because what people don't realize is 40% of people who play video games are female, and they're very good at it, and they enjoy it just as much as everybody else, and it's constantly growing. More females are getting into it, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. The market is huge out there, and I just want to get their voices heard.
Oh, don't worry, we're going to get more into that in just a minute, towards our second part. So we're looking at the website right now. Everybody right now is getting a little taste of the actual website. If you guys want to check out, in its full glory, go to the URL link in the bottom in the description box. But usually, what exactly usually goes up on the website, besides the video content, like the original video content that you usually construct?
Well, a lot of times I'll post up, I get featured in different articles and stuff a lot, so you could always check it out there. And I've been constantly updating my website with videos of win, comics I really like, web shows I follow, things that I find really interesting and important to the gaming industry. And I always put them up there. A lot of times they're like musical medleys or stuff like that links to gaming. And it's usually things I'm really interested in to share with all of my followers. People usually enjoy them a lot, too.
All right, that's pretty cool. So we're going to cut this part off now. We're going to go into part 2, guys. Be sure to continue on to part 2 of the interview as I sit down with Kristen Perez. So talk to you all in a minute.